Before the video starts, I want to say I know it's been a little bit since I posted on here, but considering what's been going on in the world, I thought it would be best to sort of take a break here on YouTube. But regardless, I want to thank you guys so much for the support so far, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing on our series about building the ultimate camera rig. If you guys haven't seen part 1, I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description below to check that out. I talk about the monitor I use and how I record my videos. If you guys want to check that out, I'd really appreciate that. In this video, we're talking about VMount batteries and how exactly I power my entire camera rig, and sort of give you guys some tips and warnings if you're thinking about buying one for your camera rig at home. Of course, if you have any questions or want to talk about anything I'm discussing in the video today, feel free to stop by the stream on Twitch where I go live. I've been streaming a lot more regularly and it'd be cool to see you guys stop by. Of course, all that will be linked down in the description below. So this right here is a battery that I've chosen to go with. It is a Comer D&O lighting battery and it is rated at 190 watt hours. This is probably way more heavier and a lot more space than I actually needed, but I thought if I was going to go ahead and invest in a battery, I might as well get one that has an insanely amount of space. Considering I would be powering several devices, I wanted to make sure that if I got the battery, I'd be able to power both the camera and a monitor and even a follow focus for the entire shoot if I'm shooting the entire day. The reason why you would buy a V-mounted battery is if you're building your own rig at home and you want to make sure that when you power all your devices, you don't have to keep swapping out your batteries. It's just one less thing to worry about when you're shooting all day long. There are different spaces when it comes to getting a V-mounted battery. This is 190 watt hours, which of course is a lot of space, which will last you a long time. For most people, I feel like the 90 watt hour would be more than enough to power your devices at home for an entire day. The cool thing about this battery is that when you click this button right here, it shows you the battery life, and you can see how all the green lights are still practically filled, and I've charged this battery probably a week ago. So it just goes to show that these batteries last you a long time. I got this on Amazon, and there are plenty of different brands that you can choose from that are probably more affordable or probably have less space, considering that you probably wouldn't need to go all the way and get 190 watt hours. I've seen some cool V-mount batteries that actually have a LCD display that kind of show you how much time you have left on the battery, which I think comes in handy if you want to know how much time exactly you have left before you have to swap the battery out. A lot of the pieces that I'm buying for my camera rig come from a brand called Small Rig, which I'm sure plenty of you have heard of. I think it's pretty much the entry level when it comes to building your own camera rig, and they have a lot of great quality parts. This right here is the first sort of plate that I bought when I wanted to attach my battery. I wanted to show you guys an example of how exactly you would attach the battery plate to your camera rig. So I kind of made this example for you guys. You can see that this is where you would put your camera on right here on a quick release plate, and then it has these 15mm rod adapters that you would put through them. Of course, you have many different sizes. So with the battery plate, all you have to do really is just slide it through the poles and then just tighten it down. Once you got that tightened down, all you have to do is attach the battery and you're good to go. Of course, the one downside to just using a plate like this is you only have one D-tap output from the battery itself, which if you're working with multiple devices, you're gonna need a D-tap splitter so that way you can power more than one device. So I went ahead and got this D-tap splitter on Amazon. It gives you you basically just plug it into the side right here, and then it gives you 4 more ports to plug into other devices on your rig. So here comes the tips and warnings I want to let you guys know when it comes to working with V-mounted batteries and wanting to power up a camera like a DSLR with this sort of battery. The thing that you guys have to be mindful of when you buy these batteries is that they have an output voltage that's higher than most of the devices you use. As you can see right here, the output voltage for this battery is 14.8 volts. So using like a Sony DSLR, the output voltage that camera can handle is around 8 volts. So if you were to plug in this battery straight into the camera, you have to be mindful because you could potentially fry your camera. I'm using this Tilta Nano Nucleus follow focus, which is how I'm pulling focus right now on my camera, and the voltage that this can handle is 5 volts. Unfortunately, when I first bought this follow focus, I had just plugged it in straight into the V-mount battery, and I actually fried the device. Luckily, I was able to trade it in from Amazon, but that's something that you gotta be mindful of when you're plugging in all these devices. So a device that I recommend getting when you're buying your battery is looking for a V-mount plate that actually has the right amount of slots that output the correct types of voltages. The monitor I'm using right now can handle up to 16 volts, so I plugged that into the 16 volt D-tap, and the camera I use handles around 8 volts, which is what I plug into that, and then the follow focus, like I said earlier, it handles up to 5 volts. So each one of these plugs can be utilized with different amount of voltages, so you don't have to worry about frying them with a too high of a voltage count. So for the example on how it would look on your rig, basically this comes with a 15mm rod adapter that you just screw onto the back right here. All you would have to do is slide it in, tighten up the bolts, and then you can just slide the battery right on. Once you have the battery slide it onto the plate, then you would have to turn on the actual plate, and now you're able to plug in all the right devices to the ports. Another thing that I want you to be mindful of is that if you're powering a monitor and a camera with the same battery, something that happened to mine, I think I unfortunately fried my camera because I created a potential ground loop. So basically I had the monitor connected to my camera through HDMI cord, and then I had the monitor connected to a DC adapter to the battery, and then I had the DSLR camera powered through a DC adapter dummy battery. So I think once you plug in all those things, it created a sort of ground loop and fried the camera that I was using. So just something to be mindful of. I would recommend, if you're going to use a VMount battery, power only one of your devices like the camera, since that's going to be needing more of the battery space, and then you can use like an NPF battery to power the back of your monitor, you know? Another cool thing about a VMount plate like this is that you can really just turn it around if you're trying to have more stability, if you want to go shoulder rig, and then you connect it and now it's a lot more lower for a lower center of gravity. Of course, there's plenty of cables that you want to look out for when you're getting a plate like this. This right here is a DC adapter cable, which just plug it into the plate and then power another device. This cable right here powers the follow focus that I use. So I use this D-tap to micro USB and I just plug it in straight to the battery. Then of course, if you need more space, you can go ahead and get the D-tap splitter, which gives you the 4 more D-taps for your camera rig. I think if you're just starting out, I would highly recommend just starting off with a small rig V-mount plate, since there's not really much voltages and things to worry about. All you need to do is get these 2 separate items, which are the cheese plate and then the actual V-mount plate, and then screw it onto the cheese plate and then attach the battery, and then you're good to go. Again, I really want you guys to be mindful when you're plugging in a battery to any of the devices that you have at home. Be mindful of the voltage that it can handle. I really wouldn't want you to just plug this in straight to a camera or a monitor and completely fry it like I did. Look for the label that shows you the voltage and then try and match it up with the cable that you have, or if you want to purchase a V-mount plate. The splitter that we were talking about earlier actually outputs 10 volts. So you can theoretically plug this into the battery and then plug this into a monitor or a follow focus, and you wouldn't have to worry about it if the voltage matched up to 10 volts. That's basically 2 of the alternatives when it comes to buying a V-mount plate. You can go ahead and just use the regular cheese plate, or go ahead and invest into a V-mount plate that actually outputs the right voltages. There are many different alternatives when it comes to V-mount batteries online, and of course you can find different sizes that fit your needs. I think 190 watt hours is probably too much for what I'm doing, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, you know? Well, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, it lets me know. I kinda just wanted to give you guys some tips and some warnings when it comes to a V-mount battery, because I didn't really know too much when I ordered mine, and I actually damaged some of the devices that I use. Fortunately, I was able to replace them, but I know that's not the case for everybody. Regardless of all the hazards that come with buying a battery like this, I would highly recommend to get a slim 90 watt hour battery, which is more than enough in a decent amount of time. Stay tuned for part 3, where I'll be talking about the follow focus that I use and how I pull focus with my lenses. Looking forward to continuing this series and coming back to YouTube after the break we had. Feel free to let me know down in the comments below if you're building your own camera rig at home. I'd love to hear about it. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. Don't forget to consume and produce, and we'll see you guys in the next video.